Guys, do air purifiers really have to be big, bulky, ugly and heavy? Because of exactly those reasons, I never considered buying an air purifier. I already have a portable AC here in my office and I don't want another thing right next to it. But now, KOMMA has released the LOV air purifier, which comes in this tiny, sleek form factor, and it's easily powerful enough to cover my whole office. So let's have a closer look at this amazing piece of technology.
Air purifiers are mostly designed to stay in one spot. They need to blend in with the surroundings and shouldn't be ugly devices just standing around in your room. However, most of them are too bulky and even ugly. That's where the stylish LOV air purifier by KOMMA comes in. Inspired by stones, leaves and rolling hills, this compact air purifier can work in 4 different positions. This air purifier works horizontally, vertically, hanging on a wall or even in standing mode. And by rethinking the fan and purifier on the inside, it's only 8 centimeters thick. I have the light charcoal version, but it's also available in a cream white and knit grey. But why an air purifier? Now, I solder in my room as I'm obsessed with electronics and building a lot of crazy tech stuff. But soldering releases flux fumes, which I usually extract using a fume extractor, but the odor still remains for a while. Now in my room it really helps to deal with the odor and also reduce the amount of fine dust and particles, which is not only healthier for me, but also helps the electronics to suck in less dust. Other than that, there can be a lot of indoor pollution in your home, which can be the result of VOCs that come off of furniture, PFAs that might be found in food packaging, or even just dust, pet dander and pollen. Now when you use an air purifier, particularly a HEPA or also called high efficiency particulate air purifier, you can reduce the amount of these particles in your home, which is especially helpful for anyone with asthma or allergies, especially in the pollen season. So you see a lot of people putting air purifiers in their sleeping room, nursery rooms, living rooms or any other room. But the main problem with all those machines is the same problem as with portable ACs. They are usually very bulky and ugly. Now, even though the LOV air purifier is tiny, it's designed for up to maximum 650 square feet of coverage. And it comes with a triple filtration system containing a pre-filter, a HEPA filter and active carbon filter. It also includes a laser dust sensor, which produces exactly the same air measurement value as other professional dust measuring devices. The setup is simple, it's pre-assembled and all you have to do is connect the power supply and turn it on. There's a stand option with a simple but stylish stand, or you can just wall mount it. The direction doesn't really matter as it sucks in the air from all sides and it's designed to work in any position, regardless on how you put it on the symmetrical mounting system. The power supply included comes also with a flat cable that you can easily route along a wall, around corners and hide it. Now I tried it out in various rooms of my house and the LED display on it immediately told me the air quality in form of particulate matter 2.5. The number describes basically the concentration of fine inhalable particles with a diameter that is generally 2.5 micrometers and smaller. The color of the bar right next to the number also indicates the level of pollution from blue to green to yellow and red. The display also changes orientation if you turn the device, so it doesn't really matter how you place the air purifier, because it has a direction sensor built in. Now if you leave the device in auto mode, it will automatically adjust the fan speed depending on the measured PM 2.5 concentration, and I mostly left it in auto mode. There's one button to turn the device on and to switch between the modes, or you simply just use the included remote so you can switch between the modes and turn it on and off and also turn on the night mode. Now it was the first time I heard about PM 2.5, so I wanted to see if that sensor actually works and I took it down to the basement where it's actually quite dusty. Now immediately I saw a change in the numbers and once I started moving some dusty parts, it really got into the red zone and then the fan is also ramping up. So the sensor seems to work really accurate. For my personal testing I left it constantly 1 week in auto mode in my office room and honestly the air just felt better after day 1. So I started off in the green zone and that just went down to 0 to 3. Now I just vented in the morning and left the air purifier on the whole time and I felt definitely that the room climate turned more clean and the odors after soldering went away much faster. So for me that's actually really great, because we also have a daughter and I always tell her to not go into my room after soldering because of the smells, particles in the air. But with the air purifier it cleans up the air pretty fast. Also the noise levels are pretty good, so I don't have any issues keeping it in auto mode and working next to it because it's not very noisy. And in the first stage sleeping mode we are looking at 30 something decibels, which is quite silent, but it's definitely hearable. It's really crazy because I always thought air purifiers are huge, but this tiny thing really covers my whole office space, mounted on the wall above the door. Now KOMMA did really put in a lot of effort to design this with plenty of CFDs, so computational fluid dynamics, including flow simulations, to make it really stable, silent, efficient and small. They also patented the whole design and it's one of a kind air purifier. So let me give you a closer look on the inside and how the filters and the fans look.
So guys, there we go. It's now time for a quick hands-on experience so I can show you the device, because it has plenty of technology inside. It actually looks very simple. It is very simple to use, but the technology inside is actually pretty mind-blowing if you think about it. Now, first of all, here's the remote control we talked about before. Remote control, well, it's a basic infrared remote control with the LED here, so you have to be, of course, within range to use it. And in there we have a 3V CR2025 battery, which is replaceable. So this battery, you can get it basically in every supermarket. There are different modes, turn it on and off, switch between the fan modes, and also activate the night mode. Now, build quality, as mentioned before, is pretty great. Let's have a closer look on the back here. I want to talk quickly about power consumption because, you know, big air purifiers, they're huge. Some of them consume really a lot of power because they have a very inefficient fan design. Now, here we're looking at 12 volts with 3 amps, which equals 36 watts. Which is basically less than a light bulb or a couple of LEDs. So 36 watts is really not a lot for an air purifier that can cover 20 square meters. And yeah, let's have a closer look now at the filtration system, because that is quite interesting. Now, to open it up, it's actually pretty simple. You just pull here and then you can slide out this plastic part, which is basically 1/2 of the filter, 1/2 of the device, and it contains the first half of the filter. The filter, you can just slide it out like this. So you have one filter, but you also have a second filter, as mentioned before, which is, I just have to open it up here from this side, which you can access here like this. So changing the filters is very, very simple, and this is great because you should change the filter probably around once per year. Of course, this is a recommendation. If you have it very dusty, a lot of pollution, maybe you should change earlier, but the filters are available on Amazon, so you can just order them, replace them within 1 minute. Now, the filtration system and the whole ventilation system is something, there's a lot of technology in there. So let's have a closer look. Now, as I do a lot of soldering in my office, I'm quite familiar with fume extractors, and the filtration system I'm using is quite similar to this one. So I was impressed that an air purifier, if you just talk about air purifier, features actually such an advanced filtration system. Now, this is a 3-layer filter which contains a pre-filter, a high efficiency particulate air filter, and a carbon filter, so active carbon filter. Now let's have a closer look at the filter so I can explain it a little bit to you. The pre-filter, what they call pre-filter, is this metal mesh right over here. This is basically the first layer. It makes sure that if it sucks in insects, hair, bigger fibers, whatever is in the air, that it doesn't block the filter, get into the filter, because then the inside of the filter is just cloaked with a lot of crap and it will not work the way it should work. Because the second layer is actually already the carbon filtering. Now, carbon filtering is used in the industry, is also used for air purification, of course, and it uses a bed of activated carbon to remove impurities from the air using adsorption. So not absorption, it's adsorption. And basically the active carbon has a very large surface area, and the contaminants, they can be trapped inside of it. And also I use active carbon sheets in my fume extractors for soldering. It helps to, you know, get some of those chemicals from the flux out of the air. Also, it basically eliminates the smell. And that's exactly what you will also find here in this air purifier, which is really good. I think if I want to get an air purifier, I wouldn't buy an air purifier which doesn't have active carbon filtering. And here we have it completely covered on both sides. So this is actually the second layer, and the third layer is then the high efficiency particulate air filter, and it's composed of a mat of randomly arranged fibers, and it basically targets very small pollutants and particles. So the first one is more, you know, for those contaminants, and the other one is more for those pollutants and particles. And yeah, it's actually pretty great because it combines everything what you need to get a very clean air, and also it's huge. It has a huge filter area, so once a year changing the filters in, of course, a regular environment, that should be definitely enough. Of course, if needed, if it's very polluted, very dirty, I would maybe suggest to go more often for a filter change, maybe go even down to 6 months. It really depends, but you can also have a look at your filter. If it's really stuffed with a lot of things inside, probably it makes sense to change earlier. But luckily, changing the filter is really simple. When you put it back together, there's a left and a right part. So here we have the left part. You just have to look at the KOMMA logo. If it's like this, then here we have the left side. To get the filter back in, you just put it back in like this, and then first there is this little latch here. You put it in there, and then you just slide in the plastic like this. So it's like this, and it's in there. So literally, as you can see, it takes a couple of seconds to change it. But what's really interesting, at least for me, is actually the airflow. Now the airflow inside it is really sophisticated. There is a patented air guide inside. I thought here is a fan, but actually here in the middle there is no fan. Here is an air guide, and all the fans are placed around of it, and it's plenty of fans. So let's have a closer look. So you can see 3 fans here, and if you look at this side, there's an additional 2 fans. So we are looking at 5, no, there is 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. We have 6 fans, so in total we have 12 fans around here. And they are all acting as intake fans, so they take in the air from all those sides and they blow it out here, and it all goes through that filter here. And it is pretty sophisticated because we have a lot of fans, and they are tiny fans, and I thought it will be very loud and not very efficient, but you can feel a very strong airflow from here, and also it's not too noisy. So in the auto mode, if it's not that polluted, I barely hear the air filter. So it is working efficient and silent, and this is something that is really unbelievable because it's designed to be, you know, small, integrate into your home, but at the same time it also comes with a pretty great airflow and pretty great noise levels. So overall I'm actually quite fascinated by this, and I'm thinking about getting 2 more in white to actually integrate into my living room and my daughter's room, because they're actually doing a really great job. So guys, we're now here at the end of this review of the LOV air purifier from KOMMA. And to be really honest, when they first reached out to me and I saw the pictures, I was like, is this an air purifier? Is this a gadget? Is this really working? It looks pretty tiny, and I wasn't really sure what I should think about it. But after testing it out with the dust sensor, doing some tests here in the bedroom and in the office room, it really does make a difference. And especially with the smells from soldering here, it does a really great job. Like even straight after soldering, it's already gone if I ramp up the fan speed a little bit. So for this, it's doing a really good job, and I really consider getting a second one for the bedroom. Maybe in white, so I'll put the white one here in this office because everything here is white, and the gray one would blend in really nice in our bedroom. So that's basically also, I think, the key selling point of this product. It's the design, so you can blend it in your rooms. It doesn't matter how you mount it. If you leave it on the stand, if you want to leave it there horizontally, vertically, if you wall mount it, you can choose between horizontally, vertically, and you have many options to just, you know, integrate it to your home. It's not just another thing that is somewhere on the floor that you have to move around while cleaning. and also the performance is quite mind-blowing, and changing the filters is super easy. So overall, I think it's a really great product. There's a lot of technology inside, even though it just looks like, you know, plastic case on the outside. And if you want to have more information on it, price, where to get it, etc., make sure to check out the links down below to their official website. Also, they raised almost 100,000 on Kickstarter, so it shows a lot of interest in this product as well. So big thanks for watching this review until the end. As always, guys, I'm Steven from TechMagnet. If you have any questions, down below. And now I'm signing.